You run us in.
No, you got it.
And welcome back, guys. Thank you for coming back to the Sporting Lounge featuring
Hello,
Austin, the greatest, the most awesome, the most well known in the Vietnamese community,
bro. What the fuck?
and myself
Okay, then.
truly, Derpamation, the Steelers fan from Michigan, but not a bandwagoner. Uh, and here we are today. We're going to run over a few subjects. First things first, we want to talk about Jim Harbaugh's suspension that's hot off the presses a couple hours ago.
Mhm.
Jim Harbaugh found out getting off his plane that he was suspended and is no longer able to be on the sidelines for Michigan games for the rest of the season. Done deal.
At
There's a
least, at least
rumor
for
going
now.
around. There's a rumor going around. We weren't able to cite a source, but there's a rumor going around that they're already working on getting a legal team together to overturn this as quickly as possible.
So it is. I found some articles that kind of supported it, but with it being because Michigan's always said that they're going to fight it, right? But with it being Veterans Day and a court holiday, and it is only available for emergencies, since this isn't really classified as an emergency, they might have to wait till next week because I don't know if they're going to be able to do it before the game. So
Yeah,
that's going to be something interesting to watch up to the game time, I guess.
yeah. I
So
mean,
I'm
like
interested.
Michigan has proven that they can win without Harbaugh on the sidelines this season. Not against a tough opponent like Penn State yet, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like I think it was said really well. Earlier this week, I shared it onto our Sporting Launch page. I
Mm-hmm.
believe, I believe Colin Coward said it. You know, they're working so fast to suspend Harbaugh because teams are scared of Michigan. You know, like if this was Wyoming, do you think they'd be in as big of a hurry to suspend Harbaugh? If this was Yale, would they be as fast? Let's even talk about like a team like Tulane, a top
Mm-hmm.
25 team consistently, just they don't really get too high. A team like Tulane, or like even a team like Washington. It almost feels like Michigan has this target on their back because they've been so dominant this season, and they're just one of those programs where it's like they know that'll make headlines, and the NCAA is going to get money off of it.
They's gonna make bank,
Yeah, you know.
but I don't know, man. It's a weird situation because the NCAA even, or not the NCAA, but the Big Ten even said that they don't have any evidence directly linking him to it, but they're suspending him under the sportsmanship policy or bylaw or whatever because he's the head of the program. Which I understand. I get it to an extent, but at the same time, it's like I always hate that they just blame the top person for shit that people
Yeah,
do under them because you can't know everything, can't control everything. So I don't know.
110%.
I kind of hope it gets overturned because I do think the NCAA should have ruled first before the Big Ten, just jumping to it.
Yeah,
But I am interested to also see as time goes on the evidence that the NCAA may have against them.
yeah. And something else I don't like, the Big Ten as an organization, it's like you have one of your biggest matchups right here, and you don't have concrete evidence, and you're just like, this is like a huge matchup, not just for Michigan, but for Penn State as well. Penn State wins this game. We're talking about Penn State being a top 14.
Potentially, yeah. I
Like
think I think they could jump to tops to six
top six
because they're
guaranteed, I think.
yeah. But like if say Washington and Oregon loses, they could just jump right up into four
Yeah. And then,
potentially.
also like in this case scenario, they beat Michigan, but Michigan beats Ohio State later in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Now Ohio State's down a loss. And if we're doing it by metric loss, like Penn State would have the crown over it
Mm-hmm.
because their only loss they beat. And when they beat them, they ranked number 2 in the country. That's going to go a far way, especially when you're talking about CFB rankings. So, like, Penn State wins this
Oh,
game, they could definitely be in. And, assuming they win the rest of their games. But Michigan, they at this point in the season they've looked like world beaters. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And I don't know how much of an impact Harbaugh necessarily has. And I'm wondering if the players are going to be more pissed off going into Penn State and be willing to rip someone's head off, more so than anything else.
It's possible. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just really want to see the evidence. That's about where I'm at still. Honestly, I want to see the evidence, see what the hell's going on. Apparently, because they really just say that, oh yeah, we don't have evidence, but they're not going to cite anything specific besides sportsmanship policy. To me, that's kind of bullshit and cheap. But
yeah, you know what it feels like to me? It feels like they're holding on to the evidence and they're going to rack up as much evidence as they can, and then in the offseason they're going to try to suspend him the next season. Maybe. Harbaugh really, like, here's the thing, people give Harbaugh shit, whatever. The thing is, Harbaugh really did turn around this program in Michigan. Like, if you remember, like, even when Shoelace was at QB, it was like they couldn't get too far because the coaching was so bad. He was on the cover of NCAA football, like, it's one of those things where it's like, Harbaugh really did change the program for the better.
He did.
And it's kind of shameful that it's kind of shameful how, when Harbaugh comes out and says coincidentally this past offseason that players deserve to be paid for their NIL significantly more, like, that all of a sudden now he's getting the drag around the house. Like, what the fuck's going on here, man? Like, you're talking about a coach that really did change an organization that is huge in the culture of college football. When Michigan's not good, it's like when Ohio State's not good or when Bama's not good. It's weird. It feels empty inside. I feel homeless. It's like when Florida's not good, or
feel homeless.
when Miami's not good, like when Florida and Miami aren't good, it kind of feels weird. There's just certain teams that when they're not doing good, it feels weird. And Michigan had been in that spot for 15, 20 years ever since they lost to Appalachian State. And, Harbaugh came in and turned that around. Yeah, it was wild. But, if Harbaugh didn't get suspended, do you think he would have won Coach of the Year for the Big Ten?
It would have been between him and Ohio State.
Yeah,
I think. I don't think he would have had a great shot at it, especially if they won out in the season. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't have been surprised if he won it. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to win Coach of the Year or justify it when you miss potentially 6 games, but 3 games really at the beginning of the season, right? So it's kind of hard to give that to someone that missed those 3 games.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it is like, he came back and then they just played even more dominant. Like,
right.
I'd be interested to see if this suspension didn't happen, and assuming Michigan won out, if he would have got it, even under the circumstance.
Do you think he deserves it?
100%. Like, I don't know how else he could prove it. Like, he coached a team so well that he got them in a position where when he was gone, they were able to be effective still. And then when he came back, they were even more effective. Like, I don't know how much more can be proven that he's an elite coach at that point. Like, we're talking about, like,
don't get suspended to prove you're an elite coach.
That's true.
Big brain,
Bill
bro.
Belichick. Switch it around. Him with the switch.
Chill.
Hey, bro.
Right.
Hey, bro. I'm just saying how I see it.
It was a gray area back then. Technically, it wasn't illegal.
It's funny how
but now it's fully illegal because of that.
when you commit the first crime, it's never illegal.
Exactly. It wasn't. It was just like a unspoken rule of not to do. But now they made it fully illegal. So yeah, that's all.
Belichick really just came up in there and was like, "Swiggity, swoogity, I'm gonna cheat for the Ludi," and then just fucking took 6 Super Bowls, bro.
Oh my!
talking about
Hey,
coaches
you
of the
know what?
years and everything. We want to do our mid-season lock-in predictions for 5 positions:
Mhm.
MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, and Offensive Rookie of the Year. And also, we can
Mhm.
talk about Coach of the Year too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down for that.
Keep on forgetting I took my batteries out of this thing.
Dumb.
I'm a fucking peasant.
So
All right,
I kind of want to read you the odds for MVP first.
sure.
Start there. So right now it's Lamar Jackson 1, Jalen Hurts 2, Patrick Mahomes 3, Joe Burrow 4, 2 of 5. I'm really kind of mad CJ Stroud's not on this list based off of it because I sent you that video earlier. It's like that man's balling out as a rookie on the Texans that are 4-4, and he's top 5 in a lot of categories. Why is he not in that discussion?
Yeah,
Do you think
no,
it's
like
because he's a rookie specifically?
yeah, but like also check out the list. Like, does Jalen Hurts really deserve to be on the MVP list, let alone at 2? Not off the
Joe
season he's
Burrow,
having.
Joe
And
Burrow
that's what I was about
doesn't.
to say next. Joe Burrow, like, my list personally right now, if I had to roll it, I'd go Patty, Lamar, CJ, Lawrence, Tua, in that order.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, CJ Stroud has played so good. He deserves to be on that list, regardless of who you are. But the
Yeah,
big knock is for whatever reason because he's a rookie. They don't want to put him in that running, even though he deserves it.
he deserves it. And I think the discussion changes once the Texans get into a playoff position.
Hmm.
Like they're creeping on it. They're scary. The Texans have a chance to run the table for the rest of the season. If they somehow manage to do that, you can't ignore it. You can't, unless Patrick Mahomes goes and breaks the single season passing yard record, you
Hmm.
know, and Tua might be able to too. That's why Tua's on the list as a fringe pick. If he
Right.
somehow like just rights the ship and gets the big thing against Tua right now is he hasn't gotten a valuable win this year. He almost had it against the Chiefs, but
Hmm.
like, he hasn't really
Oh yeah.
been up to snuff against valuable teams. And when that's the issue, that's a big issue, especially when you're talking about MVP races, because like it's one of those things where like, Ben Roethlisberger was in MVP talks for a lot of the seasons that he didn't have the greatest stats, but it's because he
Hmm.
was winning those games. Like Philip Rivers and Matt Ryan made a living off being in the MVP talks because of how they won games at the end of everything. Yeah, their passing stats might be 5th or 6th in the league. Yeah, they might not have the best TD to interception ratio, but what did they do? They won games. And if CJ Stroud does that, that's how players that aren't necessarily super elite end up getting MVPs. Why can't it be someone that's elite that's just a little bit younger than we'd like to think to get it?
So part of me also thinks it's because like a rookie of the year kind of thing because he's number one on a lot of people's list as he should be. He's by far the best rookie this year so far.
Yep.
So I wonder if it's also because they don't want to give MVP and offensive rookie of the year to the same person. But if a player deserves it, they deserve it regardless
They
of
deserve it, bro.
whatever awards they're in for, you know. So it's
Exactly.
kind of annoying to see
100%.
that shit happen. And I think that's exactly what's happening with CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
Because he's
like
top 5 in a lot of categories. And then you bring it back to last week's game, like you don't see that kind of poise and drive with 40 seconds left from a lot of players. You know, as we
let
talked
alone a
about it
rookie.
exactly. We talked about it a little bit on our last episode. But like him not even being on the list just fucking baffles me.
Yeah, no, he deserves to be on the list. The thing is, like, the only reason, like, I would be comfortable seeing Stroud at 1, but the only
Mm-hmm.
thing that holds me up is he needs to get more wins. You cannot win MVP on a 500 record.
True.
You just can't. Like,
It's
you
very
need to
hard.
have at least you need to have 10 or 11 wins, or you need to have a Drew Brees like season where you squeak into the playoffs anyways. And with how the AFC North is playing, you're not going to squeak into the playoffs anyway. Like, it's
Yeah,
just
that's
not
gonna be
going to happen.
hard.
It's just not going to happen. Like, and let alone the North being hot, the South is fucking smoking hot. the Titans lost this week, but they could be winning a lot of their games coming up, especially with Will
Mhm.
Levis at QB. You know, we're talking about a shock that is like fixing everything, it seems like immediately. You know, he played good against that Steelers defense. But that's the thing is it's the Steelers defense.
With bad
You know,
defense. Oh my gosh, horrible.
yeah, you know, they do let up a lot of yards, but they get a lot of turnovers at sacks, so it makes up for it, you know. It's
Yeah.
the most it's the most Steelers defense I've ever seen. Bend but don't break. Oh, you're gonna get 3 points? That's fine. We're gonna score on this drive, right, guys? Offense. Hey guys, you're gonna go score, right?
Offense,
Oh, okay.
where you at?
Okay,
Please,
well, they'll get another field goal. Okay, cool.
offense,
Guys, you
please
ready to
help.
come back out?
Please help.
Please. It's just bad in Pittsburgh with that, but that's not
At
what
this
we're
point,
talking
they
about.
should just put their defense on offense. I mean,
TJ Watt, you know, has as many touchdowns this year as Deontay Johnson.
wild.
And George
Absolutely
Pickens.
wild.
And George Pickens.
Absolutely
And I
wild.
think Pat Fryermuth. He might have more.
Absolutely freaking wild to think about. I
And
can't believe that.
And TJ Watt has more receptions than Darnell Washington at this point
Mm-hmm.
with his one pick.
Mm.
They wasn't even throwing him the ball. Darnell Washington might have 2 catches. I might be wrong. But I'm not looking at the stat sheet. I'm just saying, you know, TJ Watt is that Steelers team. Like, we seen what happened last year when Watt went down, and Mother of God Almighty, please do not let him go down. And that leads me to my fucking defensive player of the year.
TJ Watt.
Drum roll, please.
No drum roll.
Micah
for you.
Parsons.
Mm. I was expecting you to say someone else.
Yeah. Watt deserves it. Like, I think so. Like, do I think Watt is the best defensive player in the NFL? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get cold feet about giving it to him again. I can already see it happening. The only way Watt gets it is if he breaks the single season sack record. Because, you know, like, they're comparing Watt to Crosby and Garrett, like, not to Parsons. And there's a reason. You know, Parsons is playing out of his fucking mind right now. It's insane how good Parsons is. Like, Watt is a stud, and he's playing at an elite level. But the thing is with Watt, when you're watching him, it's like he's so fundamentally sound. Micah Parsons is explosive. So, like, although, like, if I'm building my roster, I'd rather have TJ because I just know solid every game we're getting 2 sacks. They're not always the most flashy, and then we're going to get an explosive turnover. And that's how TJ Watt's explosive. But Micah Parsons is ripping through double teams and triple teams and getting pressures, and he's not finishing all of his plays because he's getting triple teamed. You know, when Watt gets triple team, he's only getting a sack a game and not as many pressures. You know, so when we're talking about defensive player of the year, that's the type of stats that we need to be looking into. And, you know, Max Crosby is a great player as well. And I think that he's above Myles Garrett, but I don't think, you know, we're in an era. I'm so happy to be alive
Really?
to watch
Above
football right
Myles
now.
Garrett?
Oh, all day, because they do the same thing, but Max Crosby's been more productive.
Let me see. Let me look it up because I thought Myles
So-
Garrett was leading the league.
They're tied in sacks. Not Max Crosby's the only one that's out of that discussion on sacks. But the thing that Max Crosby makes up on is tackles for a loss and pressures. So, like, Garrett and Crosby are really the 2 comparisons that you make on that side, and then
Oh yeah,
on
there's a 3-way tie for second place at 9.5.
Yep.
And then Danielle Hunter is leading at 10.
and he should be kind of like mentioned in defensive player of the year races, but like here's the thing too is like he doesn't have as many pressures in TFLs that you would like to see. Like the 10 sacks are really good, but like there's times where you catch him biting, and you know also his team's not winning. So like here's the situation. Like you really have 2 sides to decide on. Do you think TJ Watt or Parsons is better? I think TJ is better, but I think Parsons is going to get the vote. And then on the other side, you're going to say, do you think Garrett or Crosby are better? I think Crosby is better, but I wouldn't be surprised if Garrett got the vote.
Yeah, so
the thing is,
right now PFF has Myles Garrett as the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year.
my issue with Myles Garrett getting it is like, it's just like, here's my argument for TJ Watt getting it in adverse to Myles Garrett not getting it. I think of player of the year awards a lot of time in baseball stats, which is WAR, wins above replacement.
Yep.
You know, TJ Watt, you know, wins above replacement. I think it's like 1,000. I think like if TJ's not on the field, the Steelers lose every game. Like, I think that's how big of a difference maker he is. They might.
I mean, the games are not going to be close, or as close at least.
Like, here's the thing, bro. Last season, TJ went down for 4 games. We lost all 4 of them. When TJ was back, we went 6-2. Made it into a playoff hunt position late in the season. You know, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, but it wasn't because of TJ Watt. It's fine.
Oh yeah, only racked up 14 sacks over fucking like 6-8 games. You know, whatever.
Why wasn't it more? Why wasn't it more? Why not 16?
Facts.
Why not 18?
True. But
Scrub.
like, here's the thing, you know, like wins above replacement. I think TJ Watt just wins over everybody right now. When you're talking about explosive playmaking, Micah is just above everybody. And then if you want to talk about like the sleeper pick, you got to choose between Myles Garrett and Max Crosby. And that's just because they're 4-3 edge rushers and they're more replaceable. Like, I don't think Micah Parsons and TJ Watt like are nearly as replaceable because they're 3-4 linebacker. You know, they're edge rusher. They drop back in zone coverage. They, you know, they don't get as many pressures as Crosby or Garrett, but that's because of how they are built into their defenses. They drop back into zone coverage, and that's how they're getting those picks that the other two aren't getting. So, you know, you look at pressures in TFLs, Crosby is definitely much more effective in that than Garrett is. And if I'm a 4-3 edge rusher and I'm picking which one I want, I'd rather have the guy that's getting more pressures than necessarily sacks when it's double the rate. You know,
right.
Crosby is not a mile behind in sacks. Like, he could have one explosive game and be right up there in the sack discussion. Like, everybody has a game like that every season, and you know, Crosby's yet to. But he has a ton of tackles for a loss, and he has a ton of pressures. And he has, like, I want to say he has 48 pressures compared to Myles Garrett's 27. So we're talking about a massive difference, and I think he's only behind 4 sacks, 4.5 maybe. So, like, not a major difference in sacks. Like, a 3-sack game is realistic. And then he's only behind by 2 if Garrett has an off week. He's right back in it. You know, and that's the two that you got to decide between is your 4-3 favorite and your 3-4 favorite, because no secondary player is good enough to be defensive player of the year this season. Not when all these guys are around.
Yeah. I was trying to look up, see if I could find the stats for all defensive. I was having no such luck. Oh, I was just gonna look at like all the pressures and shit like that.
Oh yeah, it's hard to find a fucking full stat sheet of pressures. It sucks. PFF Premium has it.
Yeah, I'm paying for that shit.
Yeah, neither am I, bro.
All right, offensive player of the year. Who do you think?
Kenny Pickett.
All right, that was a good episode, guys. Please like, comment, share.
Offensive player of the year. Offensive player of the year, I think should be CJ. Like, honestly, like, it kind of goes back to that wins above replacement statement. The Texans had the second overall pick. You know,
so without Stroud, it's like
with Stroud, it's like, wait, we got a guy named Noah Brown on our team. Wait, what the fuck? We got Tank Dell. Oh, things are starting to cook up. And it's like, you know, I was talking about this during the offseason, man. It's like the Texans had a good structure last season. They just had gaping holes in positions. And you don't need to fill those gaping holes with great players, just average to good players. And then they went out in the draft, addressed a lot of needs, and then in free agency picked up a couple guys that were good for depth. And when traded for Kendrick Green from the Steelers, you know, got it. And he's been playing out of his mind in Houston. And now, like, the Steelers losing Kendrick Green and Kevin Dotson to the Rams and to the Texans and Rams respectively.
They made very smart moves in the offseason.
Yeah,
and throughout the
they
draft.
both been playing very good. That's a big reason that Matt Canada's been getting weird looks. On a side tangent, real quick, because Kendrick Green's been looking like a stud.
Mm-hmm.
He's a mauler, and he's able to pick up blocks on the pass blocking too, which he couldn't do with the Steelers. And it's like,
Right.
well, what's this? And now CJ Stroud is really making everybody around him look better. Not just the offense, the team. The team wants to win. And I think I seen that last season. I think I seen that last season because it was like the Texans only lost by a score here and there most of the season. Like they didn't get whooped on all year. They just barely lost every fucking game.
It was just in those close games, Davis Mills couldn't pull through, kind of thing. It would oftentimes throw like a late interception that would seal it for the other team. But we don't really see that with CJ Stroud because he didn't throw his first interception until like 2 weeks ago, I believe it was. I believe it was week 7 that he finally threw his first interception, which is pretty crazy. 14-1 as a rookie quarterback. That's all you can really ask for because he's playing out of his mind and he looks ready. He looks like he's been ready and he's taking advantage of the situation, and I love it.
Yeah, it's just like if Bryce Young ends up being a bust, how hard are you kicking yourself if you're Carolina's front office?
Pretty hard because you traded that to the Bears. Trade away your picks to the Bears. I don't know, man. If I was Carolina, I would probably, because there's only like a couple quarterbacks I really liked in the draft, right? Being CJ Stroud and Will Levis, those are were my two favorites in the draft. So if I was Carolina and I don't got a quarterback that I really love, which I don't know how much they like Bryce Young, but I would have kept on, hanged on to like Baker Mayfield or something like that for another year to get Sam maybe Darnold. Like a Caleb Williams. Yeah. Someone that can keep you in the games, but you're not really relying on long term. Yeah. And then just play for the next draft. And next year's draft is going to be loaded with quarterbacks, which I think is a way better draft for quarterbacks than we had this past year.
Yeah. I mean, like,
So I think they kind of rushed it to a quarterback because I felt like they probably felt pressured that they needed to draft one now when realistically they could have waited another year for one.
It's crazy how, how bad Bryce Young looks.
He looks horrible.
And it's crazy because it's like he seems like he knows the playbook. And it seems like he can make the throws. It's just like the offensive line does not give him a lot of space at all. And it feels like
the run game has been very awful too as well.
Yeah, it's just one dimensional and like he's forced to dink and dunk. And when you're forced to dink and dunk and they're playing Tampa 2 on a fucking man scheme, like next thing you know, you're getting quarter routed all the fucking time. And that's where Bryce Young's at. Like, the route doesn't extend past the quarter and it's just there. And now he's got to fucking throw it or else he's getting blasted again.
Right. So I don't know. I kind of feel like he's in a shitty situation just because that team isn't really quite taking advantage of his talents and his ability. Because he's super athletic. He can make a lot of good throws. He's very good in that department. But that offensive line and those offensive weapons do not help any quarterback at all. Plus, then when you have a running game that can't really establish the run, putting all the pressure on the quarterback, that's not good.
Nope.
And then you have a mediocre to shit defense.
Yeah, which is crazy because last year their defense was really good.
Yep. And now this year it's very, very mediocre. But for offensive player for me, I kind of like taking the cheap way out and going Tyreek Hill.
That's fair.
Out. He's on track to break the NFL record right now. And it's hard not to like him and choose him as the favorite for offensive player. But I don't know. I'm taking the cheap way out for that one. Offensive rookie year, though, definitely CJ Stroud. Has to be CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
I think it's CJ Stroud that no one else.
Rookie of the year.
It's a one-way race. One dog
Oh,
race for
bro.
this one. CJ Stroud, just
bro.
no one.
Hey, bro. Let me take Broderick Jones from the Steelers. Left tackle.
No, get out of here.
Come on,
Get out.
let every dog has his day, bro. Come on. Let me
Not
lock in
this
my
year.
vote. Let me
Not for
lock in my
offensive
vote.
rookie.
Come on, bro.
Not for,
Let me lock it in.
not for offensive rookie of the year, my guy.
Oh yeah, you're right, CJ.
It has to be CJ. You said
I
him
had
twice
to
before.
really think about it. Yeah, I no, I changed my mind on the rookie one though.
I'll say if you just, I don't know. I would have been baffled if you actually stuck with that after naming CJ Stroud 2 previous awards.
A left
So-
tackle isn't gonna get it. No, there's no chance.
What if it did? What if a tackle, offensive lineman, did get it one day? That'd be fucking wild.
I mean, like Trent Williams deserves it, bro.
Someday we might see it.
Yeah, like Munoz never got it, and like if you think of anybody that was deserving of it,
Maybe
like
debatable.
I loved sitting down with you and talking about Munoz film in depth, bro. I was like, see how he pops his hip out, and you're like, holy shit, he gets so wide. I'm like, yeah, and he's keeping his balance too. See, he just got punched in the chest and it did nothing. Munoz was crazy, bro.
All right, defensive rookie of the year. Jalen Carter?
Oh man.
Hmm?
Oh man.
Jalen Carter? Hmm?
Man.
Hmm?
You're gonna hate
How we
me.
feeling? You're gonna say the Steelers guy, huh? The safety.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the corner, JPJ.
I don't know, man. Devin Witherspoon's been balling out. Will Anderson's been doing great.
Yeah, but like at this trajectory, JPJ is like not just balling out, but being historic.
He's okay.
He's letting like a 14.74 passer rating against him on an average for 8 yards per reception. I want to say 8 receptions.
Mm-hmm. But I mean,
Lockdown.
Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter balling out.
Jalen Carter is balling out.
He's played 250 snaps. He has like 31 pressures right now.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good for a rookie. Double the
He's
next
really
rookie defensive tackle. So I don't know,
bro. But like, not even homering. Like, I didn't even pick TJ Watt as defensive player of the year. Like, that's the obvious pick as a Steelers fan, and I'm gonna be crucified saying that a Cowboy is going to get it instead of my guy. But I think he's gonna get it because he's explosive over TJ Watt, who's just conventionally good. Yeah. So that's why. Hate me if you hate me. But
conventionally good.
Yeah, just like every play, it's just like you're getting the max out of TJ Watt, and it's just always good. He's not going to have that explosive rip through a triple team, but like Micah has off games, but those games never get talked about, especially when his stats back it up on his explosive games. I mean, like he has several games without a sack this season, and but he makes up for it with those explosive games that make your guys go wow. Like TJ has those games, but like it's also like he already got it. Mike is kind of already in the wings. I think TJ deserves it. But anyways, back to JPJ.
He could get it.
I think it's up in the air. If I had to pick one, I'd say Micah got it. But JPJ, like we're talking about a shutdown corner, like off rip. Not like he got burnt his first couple games and now he's locking them down. And we're talking about past 5 week scenario. Period. Started, shut down. Like last week,
1 interception.
Last week, did you know that he made it so DeAndre Hopkins had the worst statistical release and coverage space in his whole career?
I did see that stat.
That's insane. Like, you could say D-Hop's burnt. You could say he's washed, but he's coming off a 3 TD performance.
I'm not going to say he's washed. D-Hop can still ball out. JPJ, Joe Porter Jr. balled out as well. I think he's great, but I don't – I think what it's going to come down to is people are going to say he doesn't have the stats to back it up, unfortunately. I think that's what it really is going to come down to.
So that would be, I would agree with you like 5 to 10 years ago. But the thing is now, like QB rating and like passer percentage and like yards of separation is a stat we actually analyze now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it beforehand it was a stat we didn't talk about. A little guy came along named Darrelle Revis and made us have to focus on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pretty much after the Revis era, that's when people started focusing on yards of separation and release data and shit like that. You know, like it started becoming really prevalent in the 90s, but, you know, not to the public. But when Darrelle Revis had Revis Island, you know, so that's kind of the boundary that I'm sitting on. You know, JPJ, the reason he don't have the stats is because you can't throw to him. You can't throw at his side. He's running the routes, dude. Like, it's insane. And I've been very negative to the Steelers secondary for the most part of the season. JPJ came along, they finally let him off the leash, and he's been dominant.
Oh yeah, because it wasn't really starting at
Yeah.
first. For the first
And they
3 or
put
4
him,
games I played.
when they started him, you know which spot they put him in? CB1. X.
Not bad.
And
Not bad.
he's holding up.
I like him a lot. I just don't think they're gonna end up giving it to him.
I think
they're
there's a
gonna
good
look
chance,
at-
man.
There's a good chance, but I think they're gonna look at, you know, someone like a Jalen Carter or Devin Witherspoon or Will Anderson.
I think those guys deserve it as well. I think they deserve it as well, but Witherspoon's gotten burnt several times this season. Anderson is like good, but he's not elite yet. You know, like, so if we're comparing JPJ to Will Anderson, JPJ is playing at an elite level, not just an elite rookie level, but just an elite level. Who else in this draft class is playing at an elite level other than Jalen Carter?
Jalen Carter.
That's what I'm saying. You know, like, I think the discussion should really be between JPJ and Jalen Carter.
We'll see. I mean, it's definitely going to get a lot more clear as the season goes on, and, you know, especially when we get to week 16, 17.
Yeah.
Or even really week, you know, like 4 weeks, actually, like week 14, 15. We'll probably get a more clear picture of who's going to be the MVP favorite, just based on how the people are playing and what their stats are at that time. And JPJ has plenty of time to make his case for being rookie of the year for defense.
Yep.
And I really would like to see it because he like I said, he is balling out and he deserves it. But I think it's going to be almost like a 3-way tie for first on who deserves
Yeah, that's
it.
what it kind of feels like. There's a lot of really good rookies this season.
Right. So I'm excited to watch him keep playing, but at the same time, I'm being just cautious on who actually is going to win or who I think is going to win, for that matter. All right. What do you say we get into these sit and starts?
Oh, what about Coach of the Year?
Ooh. That's a good question. I mean, if the Texans keep winning out, I wouldn't be surprised he wins Coach of the Year. Especially if they make it to the playoffs and do well in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like make it to the divisional round. I won't be surprised. He's really the one that comes to mind immediately for Coach of the Year.
I was gonna say Dan Campbell.
Fuck the Lions.
Like, you know,
I'm
not a Lions fan, but he deserves it.
He does. I'll give him that. I think it really comes down to Dan Campbell and D'Amico Ryans for Coach of the Year. Personally, you could throw Mike McDaniel in there too as well because he's done well. Robert Saleh is borderline top 5 for it, but it's really just Dan Campbell and D'Amico Ryans for me. I'm gonna choose. I don't know who I want. I'd probably say D'Amico Ryans personally, because to me that turnaround that the Texans have made is more impressive than the Lions. This
fair.
year, just based off of this year, and what we saw from the Texans last year, and then into this year, and then the moves that they made also, which D'Amico Ryan's had a huge part in those free agent signings and those draft picks. Like to me, that's more impressive. How much they've turned around this year and how good they actually look,
Yeah.
and that they play better and are better than their 4-4 record.
Yeah.
So
I
for me,
I
it's gonna
I
be
get
D'Amico
the
Ryan.
argument. I get the argument. I think my list goes Campbell, Ryans. Man, honestly, Mike McDaniels might be even ahead of Ryans.
Mm-hmm.
He's just been so good. He's such a
Yeah,
good coach, but he doesn't have those valuable wins yet. So
right. But
that's what.
watching the Dolphins last year and then watching them this year, just how their offense has evolved so rapidly is so impressive to me. And a
Yeah,
lot of that has to do with Mike McDaniels and that
yeah.
play calling and play design, right? Because
Mhm.
last year they looked slow and lethargic at times. This year they're just boom, boom, boom.
I think Doug
Let's
Peterson
freaking
deserves
go.
his roses.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. What about Kevin O'Connell or Nick Sirianni?
I think I think Mike Tomlin still deserves to be in the top 5,
Okay.
even
All
though
right.
like
So,
the offense has been so bad. He's been
mhm,
able to keep that locker room alive somehow, and the Steelers are holding on to a wild card spot and might be winning the division at the rate that they're going.
right.
Like,
Mm,
it's really hard to not. And I think Harbaugh deserves to be in that top 5 conversation as well, leading that Ravens offense to being so dominant and utilizing a player like Roquan Smith to the max of his capability, like he has been.
I did not see the Steelers being in the position they are currently.
Yeah.
Nor did I see the Browns either. That was a huge surprise. But real quick, I'm going to read you the odds for Coach of the Year as it currently stands. Dan Campbell is the favorite at plus 210. Then D'Amico Ryans. Then Mike McDaniel at plus 450. Then it's a huge drop to Robert Sala at plus 1400. Nick Sirianni, Kevin O'Connell, both 1400 as well. Then John Harbaugh. Then Doug Peterson. Then Mike Tomlin at plus 2100.
Mm-hmm.
That's the top 10 or top 9 right there.
So my list was pretty close. I just have Harbaugh
Mm-hmm.
and Tomlin a little higher than they do. But I think they like, it's past season biased a little bit to me too. Like it's really hard to like not acknowledge like what they've done for the past decades for their organizations when you're talking about coach of
Right.
the year, because it's like we're talking about rosters that they've built and they coached, and like the players that are playing so well like have been experiments that they've tweaked and perfectly chemicalized over the years to make the Powerpuff
Chemicalized.
Girls, like
True.
so like because of
Yeah, so,
that, like it's really hard to like give it to a guy like Sala or McDaniels even compared to those, because it's like, oh, but like they've been having a better season this year, so that's why I
right.
I could see them being ahead. But like like Tomlin should be above Sala all day. So should Harbaugh. McDaniels deserves to be above both of them right
Yeah.
now. Maybe
I
not
would agree
Harbaugh
with that.
even.
I would agree with that. I got no problem really with the top 3. Then after that, it just kind of be like, it's weird because there's a huge drop off,
Yeah.
I think, outside the top 3. I don't know, man. But I think I'm going to lock in D'Amico Ryans for Coach of the Year.
And who
I
was your
love what he's
MVP of
done
the year?
this year. I don't want to make that pick.
You didn't make it yet, so that. Are you happy I came back around? And your defensive player of the year, you said, I think I'm going to lock in Garrett. Are you locking in Garrett?
Yeah.
Okay. Now your MVP. Who's your MVP?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, you got to lock it in, bro. Come on.
Do I have to, though?
Yeah. You got to. Mac Jones? If you don't lock it in, I'm going to put Jones. Look
No.
at the spreadsheet, bro.
Just
It's
because he's
there.
the Patriots.
Yeah.
I really want to say CJ Stroud because he deserves to be on that list. But I'm gonna lock in Patrick Mahomes. I
Okay.
think CJ should at least be on the list, but I don't think he's gonna win it, unfortunately. But if he keeps balling out like this, then come week 15, 16, I might have a different answer for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Then it might be seriously talking about CJ Stroud.
Yeah, like I'm serious. I'm already serious, bro. He shredded up good defenses, man. Like he just broke the single season passing game record for a rookie QB. And we're only
Yup.
halfway through the season.
And then, and he had a hell of a comeback in 40 seconds. That drive was fucking beautiful.
Yeah, dude, it was just electric. Just
I
throwing
agree.
it into places that like the corners couldn't get it onto like the out of bounds line, pretty much just like right on the sideline.
Yeah,
Getting
he had
toe
a
drags all day.
beautiful. I think they threw it down to Tank Dell, and Tank Dell caught it out of bounds at the 20-yard line. It was just over his shoulder. It was a beautiful ass throw. And I'm excited to watch him continue to grow because the Texans actually might be good. And that's kind of weird to say a little bit. But I'm excited to keep seeing him play. I think he deserves to be in that conversation, but I just don't think he's going to be just because he's a rookie. Unfortunately.
I'm sorry. The fucking
You are
vape went
good.
down my wrong throat.
You are good, my guy.
No, you're 100% right though. Like the evolution of the Texans from last season to this season is ecstatic. And
That's just why.
that's a really good argument for why Ryan should be coach of the year. It's just the thing is Dan Campbell is like leading an elite charge right now.
Mhm.
Like if Ryan's somehow pulls off like most wins, like I don't know, losing only X 3 games, like
Mhm.
then he's in that discussion seriously, like 100%. But like I feel like Campbell just has it in the bag unless Ryans does that and Campbell drops the ball.
Yeah,
Like
and Dan
Shanahan.
Campbell wins. I won't be upset because I understand the argument and I get it because he's also a hell of a coach. Um, it's really kind of like a coin flip almost
Yeah.
between the two at this point on who you think the favorite should be. You could argue both sides, and both arguments make a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think it's where I'm at, but and then it just comes down to just like I think this guy, or kind of like coin flip.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier.
So
now for our what? Week 10
No.
sit and starts.
Yes. And predictions.
And predictions. Spicy.
And predictions.
We getting spicy out here. What game you want to start with first?
All right. We're going to go ahead and review a little bit because we're recording on Friday this week. The Panthers Bears.
Okay, next game.
Okay, cool.
I'm just playing.
Honestly, though, who would you have picked to win? Panthers or Bears?
I would have picked the Bears just because I think their offense is a little bit better.
Yeah, I would have picked the Bears.
I mean that's what happening, but it was just kind of an ugly and not fun game to watch.
It's horrible.
No team looked comfortable. No offense looked comfortable. Both the quarterbacks played very mediocre.
Yeah.
There's no turnover, surprisingly, by any quarterback, but
it was just boring.
It was your typical boring snooze
nothing
fest,
football game.
Yeah,
it was like watching 50s film, bro.
Yeah, I was like, I turned it on
not the
for
Jim
a minute.
Brown film.
I turned it on for a minute, and I was like, I don't feel like watching this anymore.
Bro, when I fall asleep watching the game's pretty boring.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just nothing significant. The Bears played just well enough to win, but they didn't even have to play that well to win.
Yeah.
Like their lone Bryce, like they had Deontay Foreman did well, 21 carries, 80 yards. No one really did anything of note on receiving side of the ball. You had DJ Moore, 5 for 58, so he did okay.
Oh, 10 points.
Woo. Right. But, I mean, if you start Deontay Foreman, you're pretty happy.
Yeah.
Because you got you 15 points, so.
Yep.
I guess that's the bright spot. I don't know. I don't have much to say about this game because nothing really impressed me.
Same.
About the game.
Just
Bryce Young looked like he looked like he has all year long.
Yeah.
Didn't really do anything to change my opinion of him.
What happens? What happens if Bryce Young just turns it around and wins every game from here on out, though?
I think that's what he has to do to kind of change people's perception of him, right?
You
Because
think
right now he has. Because right now he
You
has
think it's make or
1,500
break?
yards. It's never make or break in your first year, honestly.
That's true. That's true.
I think rookie quarterbacks should at least deserve 2 years before you get called a bust.
Mhm.
Personally, that's kind of my thing. Like, I will never call someone a bust until after their second year. Then I'll be
Y'all
like,
been
okay,
calling Kenny
you might
Pickett a
be,
bust since he was drafted.
you might be a bust, yeah, because I hate the Steelers. So
We ain't doing nothing. We ran into James Harrison at the end of his career. Why you hate us so much?
that's fair. I never called Kenny Pickett a bust. I just didn't think he was a great quarterback.
Yeah.
I never called him a bust, but I said,
I bet you feel stupid now, huh?
nah, I feel the same way. I don't feel dumb. I feel pretty good. Thank you, though, for asking.
Well,
But yeah, that was just a boring game. Colts and Patriots
yeah, I was about to say, talk about your bum ass Patriots.
to get their ass whooped by the fucking Colts.
Yeah, bro. Wild world we're in, huh?
With
Not
the way
any
the
just
Colts
regular Colts. The Gardner Minshew leg Colts. Definitely starting Gardner this week, bro.
Let's see. I don't know, man. They finally got when they played the Panthers. That was their first game, first win in 3 games. So I don't really kind of just depends on what Colts team shows up.
Yeah.
And Gardner makes mistakes, but I think the Patriots defense is still good enough, even with their 2 key losses, to give that team some struggles. So I wouldn't be. So I could see a couple interceptions, but a couple touchdowns from Gardner Minshew, which is going to be enough to potentially win.
I think he's going to have like 220, 2 TDs, maybe a pick.
He's going to have a couple picks for sure. Guaranteed.
I think he's going to have 1 because I think that they're going to be throwing a lot more shallow passes like to Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss, really utilize Gardner to his strengths, which is like play action passes and short screens to go ahead and get that set up deep game. Like he's best when his X receiver gets to cross the field and the safeties are in cover 2 and he gets to hit them right in that sweet spot. Like that's when you're talking about everything starting to cook, when you're getting that running back on that wheel route out to the outside and you're getting Zach Moss out open in space because the middle linebacker had to blitz because you needed to pick up an extra man. That's the type of situations you're starting to roll into if you're the Colts. If they run the Colts offense like that, bro, like the Patriots stand no chance. Their defense isn't good enough to slow them down, I don't think.
No, because they lost their 2 best defensive players basically for the year. And then you have Juwan Bentley, who is a damn good linebacker. And then you have Miles Brandt at corner, also questionable for the game. So, like, if they lose those 2 players, they definitely hurts their defense even more than their defense is already hurting. So it's like, it's so sad to be a Patriots fan right now. I'm not a fan of it. I think the Patriots can win this game, but ultimately I think the Colts will probably win, but it's going to be close. Because if anything, the Patriots do keep games close. At least that's how they've been playing this year. So I think it's going to be like a close 7-point game.
I was thinking, like 21-13 Colts.
I can see it. I don't know. So the weird thing about the Patriots is some games they play really well, and some games they just play really bad. Like the Saints when they got blown out 34-0. But then sometimes they just play teams ridiculously close. Like they played the Eagles the first week when they lost by 5.
Close, yeah.
So it's like they're so confusing. They're so confusing. But I think ultimately it's gonna be like 24-21. Colts win. It's kind of how I'm locking it in.
Okay. Browns
So
visit
who from
Baltimore.
hold on real quick. Who
Okay, my
are you
bad.
only starting Gardner Minshew from the Colts? Or are you starting like
No,
Michael
no, no.
Pittman too as well?
Pittman's up. Taylor's up. Moss is up. I think you can start Moss this week, especially at a flex position.
Mhm.
If you acquired him during early free agency and you got the benefits of him proving that he should be a part of the offense, he's going to
Mhm.
continue to be it because he deserves it. And also, the Colts do have that contract with Jonathan Taylor and is a little bit front loaded, so they
Yep.
might be still thinking about trading him. You know, they want to keep Zach Moss. They still want to work Zach Moss, but they don't want to run the wheels off Jonathan Taylor because he could still have a sales price, especially if they don't make the playoffs this year. They could trade him in
That's
the
interesting.
offseason. Yeah. So like
Do you think? Okay, hold on. Question to that: What if you had to put a percentage on that happening? What would you put? What would you put it
60-40.
that it happens that he gets traded?
Yeah.
Okay, I could see
Especially
it.
Zach Moss continues to be really good.
Mm-hmm. And then
Like
he's a hell of a lot cheaper.
he's a lot cheaper. And the Colts are kind of paying out most of Jonathan Taylor's contract. I think it's like 40% of it up front.
I can
So
look it up real quick.
thank you. It's like 40 some percent up front. So then, he's got 2 or 3 years left on his deal after this season. And he goes ahead and you only have to pay 20% of that total salary every year. And that ends up totaling out to be about, 5 to 7% of your total cap space, depending on what year you're in. Um,
Right.
and is Jonathan Taylor worth 5% of your cap space? Definitely. But like if you're the Colts, no, you can live without him because you got Zach Moss and you can use that cap space to go ahead and lock up additional players in free agency or, I don't know, DeForest Buckner, you know, that's coming up. So I think the
Okay, so
Colts have
yeah,
a lot of
his
things
his
happening.
his salary this year and this year and next year are fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of it is front loaded, basically. Yeah, and he counts 4.1% against the cap. So if they do trade him, the offseason would next offseason would be good
Yeah.
for them to trade
Because
him.
like they don't have to pay that guaranteed. They already essentially paid off 60% of it, is it then? Because they got the signing bonus too.
Yeah, because he has in 2025 and 2026, there's no guaranteed salary.
Yeah. So they're pretty much saying, yep, you go ahead and pay him one guaranteed year, and then you have him for 2 cheap years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the deal. And that's a good deal for him, and they go ahead and get a value like a second round pick, a high second round pick, and they get to pick
Right.
which pick they get.
So then, who
You
from
know,
the Patriots are you starting? Because I'm really only starting like Ramondre.
no one really.
I'm starting Ramondre, and if I'm super desperate, Mac Jones.
It's just really hard for me too because I don't think the Patriots are going to score more than one touchdown, and I don't know where that touchdown's coming.
I don't know either, but I think Ramondre is going to do enough on the ground and get enough yardage, and then also get a little bit of work in the
Do you
receiving
think he's
game to
going to get
make it
80
work.
plus yards?
I think he's going to get about 70 yards rushing and probably about 25 receiving
How many
on about
receptions?
like 3 catches, 25 yards.
And if he got that touchdown, that's a 19-point week.
Right. If he doesn't, that's about a 14 point week, which is good enough for me,
That's good
especially
enough
if
for
I'm just
flex.
like plugging him in for someone that's on a bye week, especially.
Yep.
So it's like that's the only person I'm really considering starting. And then if I'm super desperate, Mac Jones, I will start
Yeah.
because some points are better than none. Kind of what it comes down to for me. But I'm not like happy, kind of pissed off if I have to start Mac Jones, to be frank.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Emergency only.
exactly. I mean, I love his talent and I love the type of player he is, but like being on the, it comes down to like situation, right? Patriots are not the right team for him.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if
So
he got
you
traded to
think?
the Jets, I think that'd be fantastic.
Oh man, what about on the Steelers? You think he could fix the Steelers' woes?
Now that Matt Canada's gone.
Thank you, thank you for admitting it's not Kenny's fault for once.
No, I mean only you can only put so much blame on a player until you have to look at the play calling,
Yeah.
right? And the Steelers unfortunately have a good an elite level defense potentially, and then they have a good to very good offense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that play calling is horrendous. They make plays, they call plays, and you're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" It's
It's
kind
like
of
a
the same
12-year-old
thing.
playing Madden.
It's kind of like the same thing with the Jets,
Yeah.
right? The Jets lose close games, but then you see they only ran Brees Hall 7 times
Yeah.
and Dalvin Cook another 3 times. It's like, what are you doing? Your 2 best players
Aren't
getting
getting the
no
ball.
work.
Yeah.
Getting no work, and you expect to win that way? No. They
Mm-hmm.
both should be getting double-digit touches. And then take the pressure off Zach Wilson because he's not good enough to carry you to a win. He should never be
Mm-hmm.
throwing 50-plus times a game.
So here's a
You
question
know?
for you: Zach
Yeah, what's
Wilson or
that?
Deshaun Watson?
Oh, I hate this question. Um,
This week only.
Zach, is this? Much I hate to say it, Zach Wilson.
Well, that's interesting you say that because I agree with you because the Browns are visiting Baltimore this week, and I do not think you
Yeah.
start anybody on this Cleveland offense. Maybe if you're feeling a little dicey, Jerome Ford or Kareem Hunt. I wouldn't start both of them.
I would think about Amari Cooper.
Amari
Because he's a
Cooper's probably
certified
still going
number
to be a
1.
stud. Yeah, he's still going to be a stud.
He'll probably get you at
Excuse
least
me.
12 points.
I always say don't start nobody. I forget Amari Cooper's a staple.
Yeah, come on now.
I know better. But just in my head, he's auto start. He's like in a different category than the Browns. You know what I mean?
I feel bad for him because like we'd be talking about him so much differently if he was on the Browns and was on someone like
The Cowboys.
the Cowboys or
Like when he was on the
freaking-
Cowboys.
or the Vikings or the Saints,
bro.
maybe the
Saints would be
49ers. Like there's some players I just feel bad for them based on what team they're on. But I feel bad for Mark Cooper being on the Browns.
They're a playoff contending team right now, bro.
They are, and that's crazy to say, but it has nothing to do with Deshaun Watson.
That's true.
If
Every time
being
Deshaun
honest.
Watson gets a win, bro, you know the first place he's going.
Oh god. But yeah, I mean,
Home,
like that,
hopefully.
the Browns'
was
record has nothing to do with Deshaun Watson, but you want it to be. If you're winning games, you want it to be because of your franchise quarterback, which is essentially what the Browns said about Deshaun Watson paying that kind of money.
Yeah.
But those wins definitely do not.
They're not because of Deshaun. No way.
No, they're not. Because Deshaun in the games that they have won and that he has played in, he didn't really do good. He really relied on the defense and that run game. You know, he didn't really show you a lot in those games.
And
but
you know, he's being a wimp about his injury.
Yeah, he got cleared and he still didn't want to play.
Mm-hmm.
For like, I think it was like 2 weeks that happened.
Yeah.
It was a 2 week thing.
Dude, like, you demand the guaranteed bag. You get the guaranteed bag.
And then you play like ass.
Then you play like ass. And then you're cleared. And, like, you're pretty much saying to your franchise, nah. Like, bro, you're a multi-millionaire now. Like, you got locked up for $250 million.
And you can't play the game? What are you talking about?
And you can't play? Bro, I don't care. I don't care if you got to cut off your finger. Ronnie Lott did it back in the 80s for like $100,000 a year.
This is going to be, I think, a pretty lopsided victory for the Ravens. Mm-hmm. The Browns have a slim chance because it's never none. but it's about as small as they can possibly get because the Ravens have been playing out of their mind the past few weeks. They've been playing
all
fantastic.
season.
Yeah, you're not going to stop them. But I mean, the Browns do have a very good defense. So if the Browns have a hope of winning, it is because of that defense solely, and nothing to do with that offense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm thinking Ravens too. I'm thinking 31-17 Ravens.
see, I was going to go like 34-17. A nice 3-point or 3-possession win.
You said 34-17?
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
And
we got close score lines this week.
and then for the Ravens side of the ball, like who I'm starting, I'm Lamar Jackson,
Lamar.
easy. Mark Andrews, easy. You starting Zay Flowers?
No.
No, why not?
I don't like the matchup against the Browns defense specifically. Like, you know, I think Lamar's going to be scrambling around the pocket a lot. You know,
Mhm.
he just dominates on the ground so efficiently. Like, I don't think Zay Flowers is going to be the guy. But you know who I do think is going to end up getting a touchdown this game?
Gus Edwards.
OBJ.
So you're starting OBJ?
I would be willing to. I wouldn't be surprised about a 3 to 5 reception performance. Let's say 4 receptions, 50 yards, and a TD.
What about Gus Edwards?
Gus Edwards, I'd be very comfortable starting. You know, two or three catches on top of his ground game. Like, he's a lock every week, I think, at this juncture.
Yeah, I mean he's averaging 4.5 carries or 4.5 yards per carry.
Yeah,
He has 7 touchdowns, so almost a touchdown a game.
mm-hmm.
Pretty
And
impressive.
then also, like, he gets a couple catches out of the backfield. Like, it's usually 1 to 3, so I say 2, and let's say it's 10 yards. You know, that's 3 additional points. That's half a tutty.
Okay. All right, so lock in your starts for the Browns and the Ravens.
Cooper. And then that's it. Maybe Jerome Ford or Kareem Hunt in a flex. Ravens, I'm going Lamar, Gus Edwards, Mark Andrews, OBJ.
I like it. I don't know about the OBJ spot. I mean, I'm kind of iffy on that one. But Lamar, Gus, and Mark Andrews, I'm for sure starting. And then Brown side of the ball, really Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
And probably Jerome Ford. That's about it. Only ones I'm worse.
We were talking about him so much earlier today. How about CJ Stroud visiting Joe Burrow in Cincinnati?
Joe Burr, my favorite Burr.
That's fair. What you thinking? Who's gonna win this game?
I gotta stick with my boy, man. Gotta stick with him. Joe Burr and the Bengals. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be a good game. But I think the Bengals ultimately are gonna pull out on top because they've been playing good.
What you thinking?
But that Bengals defense is also gonna let up a lot. So like,
yeah. What's the score line?
34-31 Bengals win. I think this is kind of a game you want to start most people on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
Purely, especially on the Texans, because the Bengals defense I think is a little bit worse than the Texans.
I'm thinking 41-31 Texans, by the way.
Wow. I don't hate it. I could
see it, bro. Yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing, though, bro. Like, CJ Stroud, we thought CJ Stroud was hot before last week. If this last game was him getting hotter, what happens against a mediocre Bengals defense, bro?
Even worse. I don't. I just want the Bengals to win, but I also want the Texans to win. So this is kind of a weird one for me.
Yeah,
to pick.
I would love to see the Texans win.
I would love to see it too, but I don't think it's going to happen. I do think they're going to keep it close, though.
I think so. Like I think I think Joe Burrow's the start. Obviously, Joe Mixon's the start. Uh, you know, Chase is a start. Higgins is a start. I wouldn't start Boyd this week. I like Higgins more in this matchup. Usually you pick your poison between those two fellows. They usually aren't both super productive, but I think that this is going to be a
It's
Jamar
usually one or
Chase
the
party.
other. Yeah.
Yeah. Texans side of the ball, I'm taking Stroud.
Yep. Easy. Stroud is lock, I think, at this point.
Yeah. And
Oh,
I don't
shit.
know. Like, I don't feel like they're going to be running the ball a lot. My sixth sense is telling me. I don't think they're going to run the ball a lot because the Bengals are weak on their secondary. So they can go
Yeah.
ahead and take advantage of their West Coast scheme that they've been running very well with CJ Stroud and just really expand it and make it so they can get burnt on those deep routes like I was talking about earlier that they've been doing so effectively because the offensive line gives them so much time. So they're going to establish the run early, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of scoring off of it. I think it's going to be more like a 3.6 yards per attempt type of game for whoever touches the ball. Like it's not just like it's every running back that at total cumulative rush per attempt average. So like because of that, like they're going to use it to set up the play action. They're going to use it to set up the screen and make it so middle linebacker bites, and then they get a gash of yardage. But that's why I'm kind of hot on the Texans this week. Is because that's how you beat that Bengals defense. My team plays them twice a year. It's a game I study very close.
Who are you picking though between Nico Collins and Tank Dell? Because you can't start them both. They don't both do well on the same games. It's really like one or the other.
I'm taking Collins and Noah Brown.
Is that because you got burned last week on Noah Brown?
No, bro. Like he's just been getting more consistent. He's getting hot. Like he's a very popular target for CJ Stroud all of a sudden.
Yeah, especially after last game. Do you think it's possible they all go over 100 yards again?
Yes.
Because if
you ask me possible, what percent possible? What's the possibility percent you're asking me?
Oh, you're asking me what I think the percentage is?
What are you asking me the percent for me to agree to?
Oh, if they all go over 100 yards, Noah Brown, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell.
Yeah.
Because they all did it last week. So do you think it's possible they do it again this week?
I think it's possible, yeah.
Like
probably like 20%. 20%.
20%, okay.
Like I was asking like, are you saying it's probable? No. Possible, yeah. Definitely possible.
Okay, I got
All
you.
right. So like here's the thing, the last 3 weeks, he's been targeted 16 times.
Damn. He's steadily getting more work.
He's averaging 5.3 targets per game. That's enough for a flex spot, especially if he has a week like he did last week where he caught all 6 targets. He's essentially targeting 1.25 targets per quarter if you break it down. So in a game with the Bengals, you're going to have a gun show. It's going to probably be like the bat talk game of the week, if you know what I mean.
I think this has the potential to be the game of the week too, as well.
Yeah, bro.
And like that game that we just keep talking about over the course of next week, and like, damn, that was such a good game. That was such an exciting game.
Yeah.
This could be one of the more higher scoring games of the week too, as well.
Yeah,
I won't be surprised. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, but I think it's definitely going to be within reason-ish, for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking 41-31 Texans. I'm locking that in.
Did I already lock mine out? I already said mine. Maybe not.
34-31 Bengals.
Yep. I'm holding on to that. Lock in who you're starting for the Bengals, though, because I'm starting Joe Burrow.
Oh, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase.
T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. What about Joe Mixon?
T. Higgins, too. Joe Mixon, I started. Yep. I think he's going to get about 12 to 15 points.
Okay. Jamar Chase is also questionable, so I don't know.
Yeah.
If
Jamar Chase doesn't play, then I go Boyd.
Okay, that's what I was just about to ask you.
Yeah. I go Boyd. Fuck yeah, I do. You kidding me?
Fuck you, man.
Fuck yeah, man.
I'm with it.
Huh. Talking about fuck yeah, man. How about, San Francisco 49ers
This this is their get
visiting
right game.
Duval?
It's
Their
their
get
get
right
right game.
game against a tough
They,
team like the Jaguars.
they all right, but this is their get right game. Lost 3 in a row. They're gonna be on it today. I got a feeling.
That's
This is gonna be a
wild.
14-point win for the 49ers. Oh yeah.
Final
Oh
score?
yeah. Oh yeah. We're talking 38-24. Oh yeah. It's the 49ers give right game. They're gonna come out exploding. 49 the Jags are gonna be in it for the first half, but then in the second half, game over. 49ers just dominate the second half.
I'm thinking
Calling it right now.
27-14 Jaguars, man.
You're fucking on crack.
Bro,
You're on crack.
had the Jaguars lost 3 straight?
Okay, that's fair point. Fair point, but we're not in London, so
That's true. That's true. They are in Duval though.
yeah, exactly. So it's fine. It
They
makes
got
sense.
crackheads, bro. They got crackheads. Crackheads aren't ever fun to play around, bro. Trevor Lawrence, that's why he got that fucking long hairdo, bro. It's so he blends in. He's just been using a little bit too much Head and Shoulders. You could notice him in the crowd now.
Oh my god. But I just don't think the 49ers lose at home again. I don't see them losing 4 straight. I think they're too good of a team to do that.
49ers aren't
but-
at home.
Oh, they're in fucking Jacksonville.
That's why I said they in Duval.
Yeah, I ignored you with your slander.
It was just
Just
correct
saying.
information, sir. I'm sorry.
But for the 49ers, you're really starting, I think, George Kittle. I think you start
Yeah.
Brock Purdy. And then, of course, you start CMC. He's matchup proof.
Yeah.
No matter who they're playing, you start him.
Yeah.
If you say him, you're on crack.
Same thing with Kittle. Yeah, same thing with Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brock Purdy has fallen out of that discussion in recent weeks. I think he had that title at the beginning of the season and those first 5 games. I think in the last few weeks he has lost that title.
I'd still start him. I
I'd
kinda
start
still think
him.
He is that way.
I'd start him, but would I start him over? I don't know. Gardner Minshew?
Yes, of course.
Would I? Gardner Minshew that's about to whoop on the Patriots?
Hey, bro, chill. So he had
No,
2 Brock Purdy had 2 bad weeks,
Mm-hmm.
but against the Bengals, they kind of picked up. He had 18.3 points, so I don't know. I would still kind of call him matchup proof ish. He's a solid start,
Yeah.
at least.
I agree that he's a solid start. Just I don't think he's matchup proof anymore. I think
could
I think
agree.
he's a good
I'll
start.
take it back. I'll take it back.
Yeah.
Solid start for sure. He's going to probably get you 15, 20 points this game. It's going to be nothing crazy through the air. You probably have 2 touchdowns and like
I can see
250
that.
yards, 260 yards passing. But where it's really going to steal the show is, I think, the ground game.
Yeah.
They're going to get another 2 to 3 touchdowns that way.
Yeah, I
some
could see
field
that.
goals.
I don't think
I-
they get
I-
right this week.
I do. You're wrong. So
I
that's
could be.
okay. No, you
I
are.
don't think they get right though. That's
no,
okay.
you're wrong. You're wrong.
Okay.
Who are you starting from
Hey, I'm wrong.
Jacksonville?
Oh, I'm going T Law, the sheriff's
yeah.
son. Of course.
Of course.
I'm
I
going
should know
Ridley.
that. Okay. What about Christian
And
Kirk?
obviously, ETN is a lock. Do I have to even say that? Like, ETN, obviously.
What about Christian Kirk?
Nah.
No. He's been balling
No,
out.
I'm not feeling him this week. No, he's good, but the 49ers tend to lock down hot receivers for some reason.
Okay, that's fair.
So like, Ridley I think is going to get open a lot, and that's just because of his like ability on release, and he's just elite at specific things that are good against, press coverage, which 49ers love to do, and he does a really good job splitting up zones as well. Christian Kirk
Yeah.
is a really good like catch radius guy, but catch radius doesn't work as great as you'd like when you're double teamed on the back end. So when that's happening, start to get cooked up a little bit. So after that, we're going to start talking about Saints and Vikings. Saints go ahead and visit Minnesota. Minnesota recently won their last game, led by Joshua Dobbs late in the fourth quarter, leading the way, saying, "No, we are not going to lose this game," and led them to a victory. Kind of insane. Also coming off the Saints fucking cooking with Tyson Hill. Taysom Hill, excuse me. Passing touchdown, first player since 1963 to accomplish that feat of 10 passing touchdowns, 10 receiving touchdowns, and 10 rushing touchdowns. So kudos to him. Amazing stat line indeed. So, with that being said, I don't know how hot I am on the Saints, but I know for sure that I'm really hot on the Vikings. Justin Jefferson might be coming this week. If he is, auto lock, obviously back to standard starting procedure with him. Jordan Addison is obviously going to be the question here. Would you rather start Jordan Addison or leave him on the bench with JJ coming back? And I think Addison has proven that he's worth that much. The only issue is, do we know if Dobbs can get the ball out enough? And I'm not sure, but I'm willing to take the risk this week. We'll learn a lot this week. And if you're in a position where you want to go ahead and start cooking with two boom or bust guys, one of them's going to hit. The other one's just not going to possibly. So really you're taking 75% of the point on the basement floor is what I'm kind of looking at. One of them's going to boom. You're going to get 50% right there. And the other one's going to have an average game probably. So you're going to get 25% right there. So it's not too much loss on investment, but you're able to go ahead and continue getting, a guy that gets you 11, 12 points. So because of that, I'm starting Joshua Dobbs. I'm starting Justin Jefferson. I'm starting Jordan Addison still. And I'm starting Hawkinson. Madison can go ahead and stay the fuck away from me, though. On the Saints side, I'm thinking Derek Carr is a comfortable start. I believe he's good to start. I think he had a small injury last game, but he's good to go now. I might be tripping.
I like it.
But I thought Taysom Hill came in to fill in a little bit. Alvin Kamara.
He's not on the injury report, so he should be good.
Good. Cool. I might be tripping. Alvin Kamara, obviously, just locked in, matchup proof. Do you disagree?
No. I mean, he's been so much work in the receiving side of the things that it's kind of hard not to start him. So it's like, you got to take advantage of that. So you got to start.
You taking Olave?
I am.
Yep, me too.
I am.
Thomas?
Pretty comfortably. Thomas, kind of like a dart throw more for me.
Yeah.
If I need someone at wide receiver or flex, I'd be okay putting him in. But he's not someone I'm expecting like a great game for, like 20 points. But he has that ability. He for sure has that ability. But lately, it seems like the Saints more want to pass to Kamara and get him more heavily involved because that's kind of how they've been playing. So it's really just Kamara and then everyone else in the receiving side of the ball, it seems like.
Yeah. I think you hit it right on the head.
But side tangent, I stepped away because I heard knocking at my door. So I checked my door, no one was there. So then I walked around my house and no one was there. So I was really creeped out. I was like, what the hell's going on?
That's spooky.
So that was interesting. I don't know if someone's just fucking with me or what, but
do you have a ring or something, bro?
No.
Wild.
I should get one. I need to get one.
Yeah.
But how happy are you to start Joshua Dobbs?
I'm feeling pretty comfortable, like, at this point. Like, I don't think he's a lock or anything, but I think that, like, another good week from him will start getting him put in that position where you're thinking he's a top 10 QB.
Do you think he could potentially be Minnesota's game plan for when Kirk Cousins leaves?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So follow up question: how good do you think he has to be the starter next year?
It championship round.
Okay, so like AFC title game or actually to the Super Bowl?
NFC.
Or NFC.
NFC
I don't know
title
why I said
game.
AFC.
You're good. NFC title game. I don't think he needs to get him to the Super Bowl. If he does, then like, how do you not start him over Kirk?
Right. So then at that point they'd probably trade Kirk. Actually, I'm about to look up his contract because I thought he was due for a new
I think he's
one.
due this year. This upcoming
Oh,
year.
that's what I'm looking up right now. So yeah, this is his last year
Yeah.
on that contract. So if he does, I don't even know if he has to get to the title game. Maybe it's like the divisional round.
Yeah.
You know, then they'd feel comfortable not giving Kirk another contract because he'll be 36 by the time next year rolls around, next season. Yeah. Oh, that'd be interesting. Josh,
what team would pick up Kirk then?
oh my lordy Jesus! The Lions.
I was thinking
that'd be kind of wild.
The Packers,
the Patriots.
The Patriots could.
I'd be okay with him going there, especially if they don't have a not high enough draft pick to get one of the elite quarterbacks in this draft. But I don't know. You can't go to the Browns because they pay too much money to Deshaun Watson. That wouldn't make sense.
Yep.
Maybe the Bears, if they decide to move on from Justin Fields and have Kirk Cousins there for a couple years as like a little stopgap, kind of thing. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if if the Vikings use Joshua Dobbs as like their bargaining chip to get Kirk Cousins to stay there on a cheaper deal.
True. And then they trade Joshua Dobbs.
I don't think they trade Joshua Dobbs, but I think they could use him as a bargaining chip to keep Kirk Cousins there for cheaper, essentially. Because like Joshua Dobbs, if anything, one of the best backup quarterbacks you could ask for.
Yeah, but also like he's playing so good right now.
Right.
I don't feel like an organization would just keep a second string guy like that. You know, I think Joshua Dobbs would definitely request a trade, and the Vikings would be kind of dickheads to decline it.
But they could. But I mean, at the same time, this is the only year he's on their contract, so he's going to be unrestricted free agent next year, just like Kirk Cousins.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I don't know. And he's cheap.
Joshua Dobbs back to the Steelers.
I could see him going there. I could see Kirk Cousins maybe going to the Steelers too.
Yeah, if Kenny Pickett can't pick it up, and you know Matt Canada, if they wanted to like do the Matt Canada experiment for another season, they're gonna have to get an outside quarterback.
They're gonna get someone new. I don't think I've been saying this since the beginning. Like I don't think Kenny is the problem. So whatever quarterback comes into the Steelers, I think is going to be in the same boat.
Yeah, me too.
So, and I would hate to see that for someone like Joshua Dobbs who's been playing out of his mind. I wouldn't be surprised also if he goes back to the Cardinals.
Yeah,
especially if Kyler plays that crap. The last 9 weeks, 8.
What if he went to the Bucs? Season.
I'd be cool with that.
That'd be crazy. So
because I hate Baker.
Yeah, me too. Back to the front.
Mm-hmm.
Lock and score. Saints, Vikings.
You know, if I knew Dobbs was playing last week, I would have picked the Vikings to win. But he wasn't started. He came in, unfortunately, because of an injury, but it ended up being the best thing for the Vikings, sadly.
Yeah.
So I think and the Saints are a weird team. Sometimes they just play really well, but some games they should win, they just don't play that well, and they just play down to their opponent.
Mm-hmm.
They're another team that I think is much better than the record reflects. But ultimately, I'm going to pick the Saints because I think they got the better weapons offensively. And I
Score?
think their quarterbacks are kind of on their same playing field. 31-21 Saints.
So here's my issue with everything you just said. The better weapons. Are you kidding me? Justin Jefferson, Jordan
He's
Addison.
not playing. He's not playing.
Is he not playing?
He's not playing.
Is it official he's not playing? Because I
Yeah.
literally read a report today that said he's back in practice.
Still shows him on IR.
No, he's listed as questionable. He can come off IR this week. That's why. He doesn't have to. They still have 2 cushion weeks, but they can pull him off.
They can. I don't think he's going to play. So I'm saying.
So what happened now?
Saints.
They have 21 days, so they have 3 weeks to activate Justin Jefferson, or else he'll revert back to injury reserve for the rest of the season.
And Jefferson's not going to play until he's 100%, from what he said today or yesterday.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
so.
That's football talk for saying I'm going to play this week. I think.
I don't think he's going to play. So that's why I'm saying the Saints win easy, and I think they do got the better weapons because they got Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, and then Marco Thomas.
Yeah, but
I think.
But the Vikings got Justin Jefferson, potentially Jordan Addison, Hawkinson, and Madison, sort of, and Joshua Dobbs' legs.
Madison doesn't count.
Yeah, you're right, but Joshua Dobbs' legs do.
That's a fair point. I think the Saints win it, though. I think it's going to be a 10-point game, 31-21.
Who has the sack leader on their team, bro?
I'm not going to answer that.
That's wild.
We talked about it earlier.
I'm saying 57-0 Vikings.
No, this isn't the Dolphins Broncos game, bro.
Hey, someone predicted that right. Someone did.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It was probably a meth head in a dark alleyway in the back of New York's pizza section, but Italian town.
Yo, pizza just hits different at 2 a.m.
That's true. I am going to say 38-31 Vikings.
38-31. I like it. Like, I won't be surprised if the Vikings do win.
Yeah.
Right. I just think
if
the Vikings do want to, if the Vikings do want to win, JJ needs to play. I think. Because the Saints are a better team than the Vikings played last week.
Right.
I think. But anyways, moving on to your team, the Steelers versus Packers.
Yes, sir.
How do you feeling?
I'm feeling good. The Steelers offense actually looked capable last week.
And they're going against Jordan Love, so that's fucking prime money for the Steelers defense. If you're playing that's a good defense to play or stream at least.
Minka is supposed to come back this week. So think about this. They haven't had Cam Hayward up till last week, and Minka was out last week.
Yeah.
This is going to be the first time this season we see the Steelers defense at full force because JPJ wasn't starting at the beginning of the season. The only thing that's down on the Steelers defense is Cole Holcomb at linebacker. But we have Mark Robinson, who's been playing really well, but he's just been the rotational guy switching between Mike and Will. So, it helps a lot with.
Do you think this is going to be more of a blowout kind of game? Or
no, the Steelers can't blow a team out.
If they could, I mean, it would be the Packers.
I mean, like, the only way that they blow the Packers out is 17-0.
That's okay. Do you think
so? That's how it is.
I wouldn't put that out of the realm of possibility because I don't like Jordan Love.
Yeah,
I think he's a below average quarterback, and going against that Steelers front seven and that secondary, I think it's going to be very hard for him to handle.
Yeah,
I don't think the Packers have enough offensive weapons to really counteract that. Nor do I think Jordan Love is good enough to do that.
Mhm.
But are you starting really anyone confidently from the Packers?
Aaron Jones?
What about like Romeo Dobbs or Christian Watson?
No.
Are you starting Jordan Love?
No. Fuck no. He's gonna get sacked 4 or 5 times this game, dude.
Plus probably a pick or two.
Yeah. He might be a
Like,
negative player this week.
I won't say negative, but I would say probably like 6 point
Bro,
guy. I
check
could
it.
see.
Check it. Get sacked 5 times. Your league does -2 per sack, which is pretty standard.
Mhm.
-10, a pick, -16. He doesn't get a touchdown. He has 180 yards, so he's worth what? 2 points? Like
I'm still feeling like 5 point guy. I think he's gonna be like a 5 point guy this week.
you semanticing me right now with fucking 5 points, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna get a couple touchdowns, get a pick.
A
And we're
couple
gonna be chilling.
touchdowns. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm feeling a couple touchdowns. But ultimately I think it's gonna be like a pretty ballsy 28-14. Steelers will win. I think
What
they
do you
win by
mean
double
ballsy?
digits. It means that I feel ballsy saying that Steelers are going to win by 14 points.
Yeah. Me too.
That's what it means. I think it's going to be. I don't know. Man. It's a weird game to call because both offensive look like dog shit at times. You know, they very much look lethargic, and I don't think really either offense has very good play calling at times, especially on the Steelers. And I don't think that's really an argument to be had. And then,
no.
but the Steelers
Horrible.
really got them on a defense. And when the Steelers
Yeah.
win, that's been their identity the whole season, is their defense. That's
Yeah.
how they've won.
If you beat the Steelers defense, you win the game.
Exactly, because their offense
But that's a
cannot
tall
keep
task.
up.
Yeah.
It is. That's why I say it's been their identity.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, their sole reason why they've won as many games as they had.
Yeah.
Is because without that elite level defense, the Steelers could potentially only have like 2 wins right now. They
If
could be
TJ
sitting kinda
Watt
like the
wasn't on
Patriots.
that roster,
Exactly.
like,
Much different storyline.
literally. Yeah. Did you see my scorecard that I put into the Excel spread? I want you to check your...
2014.
No, on my side.
Yours is shown blank. Oh, 70-2. My boy, you got too much confidence.
No.
The Steelers will be lucky to score 30 points.
I'm thinking 24-13 Steelers.
I could see that. I think it's going to be a pretty comfortable win for them, but it's not going to be something that blows us away.
Yeah.
You know,
Just the
kinda where I'm at.
Steelers. It's just the fucking Steelers.
this is
All the
Steelers being
won
Steelers.
again. Oh wow. Mike
Yeah.
Tomlin went 9-8 again. Oh, wow. You know,
That's so
oh,
crazy.
the Steelers
They
squeeze
haven't-
into the playoffs and get knocked down the wild card. Oh wow. Just Stiller things. Anyway, speaking of getting knocked
they
out of the
haven't-
wild card, like you're a
they haven't
fucking
scored-
prom whore. How about the Tennessee Titans visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Titans win.
Titans win.
Easy.
I
Will
agree
Levy,
with you.
baby. Let's fucking go. Will Levy, the man.
I'm
One of my
thinking
favorite quarterbacks.
31-17 Titans.
I like that, but I think they're going to score more than 31 points.
Ooh.
I kind of want to say he throws 4 touchdowns again at least, and we get another rushing touchdown.
Well, the king, of course.
So I'm gonna say 35-21.
35-21.
Yeah, 35-21. Because on the Titans side of the ball, I'm starting D Hop, starting King Henry, starting Will Levy, the man.
I'm starting
The goat.
Mailman. The
The
mayonnaise.
goat.
The mayonnaise.
That's probably about it from the Titans side of the ball.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if I'm really starting anyone else. looking at because Traylon Burks is out. But if he was playing, I would think about him, but he's out.
Yeah.
So it's really just those three players for me on the Titan side of the ball. But on the Buck side of the ball, starting Mike Evans,
Every
probably
game,
starting
not a lot.
Rashad White. Yeah.
Yep.
What about Chris Godwin?
Yeah, for sure. He's going to get 100 yards.
I feel that. I would.
Baker Mayfield's
what about
probably
Baker?
going to be a worthwhile start too.
Yeah,
250, 2
I could
TDs.
see it. He'll get you like 15 points.
I think he's going to be worth more than that, but I don't think it's going to lead to a efficient game for the Bucks to win.
That's
I
fair.
kind of stay away from Stevenson this week.
I'm with
Or
it.
Rashad White,
Oh, spicy.
honestly. I don't because I think Will Levis is going to take the top off him, and the
Yep.
Buccaneers have shown time and time again that they panic. That's how we end up with those games where they only attempt to rush 12 times a game. If the ball ain't getting in your guy's hand, he's not going to be worth a lot of points.
Especially they're especially gonna be taking the top off if Jamal Dean doesn't play, because he's a
Yeah.
big part of that
Yeah.
Buck secondary. So if he doesn't play,
100%.
it's a different secondary, I think.
I agree. Lead us into the Falcons and Cards while I go grab a drink and a snack.
Ooh, the Falcons versus Cardinals. That's a. It's gonna be a weird game to watch, but I also think the Falcons are just gonna handily win this because I think Tyler Hennick is a damn good quarterback, and I don't think Kyler Murray is gonna really perform that well. He's gonna have and show a lot of rust on him, especially if not playing for the first 10 weeks of the game or 10 weeks of the season. He's going to show a lot of rust. He's not going to perform very well. They don't have very many weapons that Kyler Murray would be comfortable using right out the gate. And I think Tyler Hennigan is just going to run away with this. I think this is going to be the Falcons all day long from the first quarter all the way to the fourth. Right? I don't think it's really even close. And Kyler Murray is not good enough to lead them out of a comeback. Lead them, especially when they get down 21-0 by halftime. Calling it now. Kyler Murray is just going to be frazzled. He's not going to look good. He's going to look rushed in the pocket. He's going to look uncomfortable.
Final score?
I think this is going to be a pretty ugly game. It's going to be like 35-10.
35-10. I'm thinking
Yeah,
42-10 Falcons.
Especially in his like first game back. I think it's just going to be an ugly game for him. Because like not playing for as long as he has not played does a lot to you in the show.
And also, Kyler's not the type of guy where when he was injured, he was just watching film the whole time. Unless he was.
No, he's playing Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably playing the new one right now. You know.
Wow.
I mean, it's been it's been almost a year since he's played.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's like I was saying earlier, he's going to look uncomfortable. He's going to look lethargic. He's going to look frazzled. And I think he's going to make a lot of rush plays too as well. He's going to throw the ball a lot sooner than he should. He's going to throw the ball a little high or a little low.
Yep.
And when he scrambles, he's probably going to throw the ball away. It's just going to be an ugly game for him.
Yeah, 100%.
That's kind of what I'm saying, which I get because not playing for almost a year, it fucks with
So
you.
are you starting Bijan this week?
Yes.
Algier?
Yes. Yes. He's good. He would be my lineup. I
Pitts?
feel pretty good. No, Jonnu Smith over Pitts.
Okay.
He's been the better tight end all year long in that offense.
That's true.
Drake London, I would start.
Okay.
Especially with Matt Hollins out. Even though he hasn't really been a big factor, but another wide receiver off the table that's just going to open up more targets for you potentially. So Drake London would be an easy start. Jonnu Smith, easy start. Tyler Heineke, if I needed to. He's not someone I would say is an easy start, but if I needed a quarterback, I would start him.
100%.
And I feel pretty good about it. Cardinal side of ball.
especially coming on bye weeks and everything. Like
Yep.
Heineke could definitely carry you to a win on a fucking bye week, especially against this mediocre at best Cardinals team. Are they even over a
Yeah.
70 overall in Madden?
I don't even remember, man. Last I saw, I think they're like a 71.
Yeah. Ugh.
But that was at the beginning of the season.
You think their numbers
Let's
improved?
see. Hell no. And the Cardinals have 3 running backs out right now: James Conner, Amari DeMarcado, and Marlon Mack.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
I'm not
starting?
starting anybody on the Cardinals.
The only one I would actually consider starting is Hollywood Brown. He's got to throw to somebody, and I think he's going to get some yards. He's going to throw. So, like, if he gets like 80 yards and 6 catches, that's a pretty good game. Maybe 5 catches. But from the Cardinal side, that he's the only one worth starting. I would think if you actually need someone to play, I would do it. But he's not going to be someone like, oh yeah, he's going to win me the league. He's going to win me the week. He's someone I'm pissed about. He's someone I have to start. Or I'm pissed that I have to start.
There's someone better on the waiver than him.
Has to be. But depending on how deep your league is, though. Right.
Even in 12-man, bro.
Who would you start over him that you think you could get in 12-man?
I don't know. Like, let me go check my 12-man free agency right now.
There you go.
Give me a second. Noah Brown.
Okay, that's
Juju.
Fair. I'll accept that.
Tyler Boyd, Devin Singletary, Kate Auden, Cedric Tillman.
I'll agree with Noah Brown.
Khalil Shakir.
Not really him.
Trenton Irwin.
I like the Noah Brown. I would definitely start Noah Brown over him.
Trey
Tyler
Palmer
Boyd over him.
John Mechie.
Depends if Trey Palmer plays. He's questionable right now.
Honestly, Brandon Powell though. I'd rather start.
I take it back.
Actually.
I take it back, but I was still thinking about it.
I honestly would start Trey Palmer too. And Trent Irwin.
That's assuming he plays as well.
Trent Irwin? Or
No,
Trey Palmer?
Trey Palmer.
Yeah. He probably will. He had full practice.
He's not a bad player to start, but again, like he's not someone that you're just willing to start because he's at best third on that depth chart.
Yeah.
You know, whereas Hollywood Brown is number 1, technically.
That's true.
But that kind of just goes back to my other point. Like Kyler has to throw to somebody, and more likely than not will be Hollywood Brown that he throws to. You know, so that's why I would start him, but I'd be pissed about it.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I stand.
Yeah, I think you have better options on your waiver, probably. That's kind of just my rebuttal point. Like, if you have them, like, you'd probably be fine starting them on flex, and it'd probably be similar results. It's just, I think that there's bigger boom potential, and when you're talking about a player on your flex spot that you're kind of pissed off about starting, you're looking for highest boom percent, you know? Mm-hmm. You recognize that they could have a 0-point game, and you accept that when you're pissed off about starting them. You're hoping they get at least 5.
Yep.
But in exchange, you're looking for the biggest boom potential. That's where Noah Brown starts to come into the conversation. You know, that's where,
you
know, like, let me pull it right back up. Trent Irwin, supposed to see an increase in reps. Trey Palmer. Hodge, for the Falcons, has been seeing an increase in targets. John Mechie, you know, a guy who's quietly starting to get focused on more in their offense.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
could see a lot more
with the Texans. Yeah. Kyle Phillips, if you think, you know, that he could just start cooking, you know, he's a young guy.
From the Titans, right?
Yeah.
I mean, especially with Treylon Burks out, it might be a good week for him that he gets a lot more work.
Yeah. And, you know, like, the guy in front of him is Nick Westbrook and Akine. And Like
You might be able
he
to get
has,
him on waivers in some leagues.
you're probably able to, but like the thing is with him is like I don't think he's going to maintain his job for much longer with how he's been performing in contrast.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, to your coach of the year, the Lions versus the Chargers.
At LA. Yep.
LA. I think this is gonna be a good game. I kind of want to say the Lions win, but the Chargers do
What
got some
Chargers team
firepower.
do we see? Honestly, what Chargers team do we see?
That's a good point. Because
I know what Lions team I'm going to see.
The Chargers team, the Chargers are another team that I think are better than their 4-4 record, and they're 2-2 at home. So it's like, what team are we going to see? Because Justin Herbert's not having a bad year. Right. Keenan Allen's not having a bad year. Like the Chargers team is good, and they're very good on offense. But like, I don't know what team we're going to see.
I'm saying 27-21 Lions. This Lions team is very fundamentally good, and I think that's the thing that the Chargers,
especially on defense.
Yeah,
especially on defense.
It's just like fundamentals. Like, you know, the Lions are a team that like you need to have big splash plays to beat them. Like, I don't know if they're a Super Bowl contender because that's what they're weak to. You know, like is a Super Bowl contender type team. Thing is with the Lions, you know, you need to have those special splash plays to beat them. You need to have everything firing on all cylinders because they're essentially a 4.5-star team, and you're not going to beat them unless you're 5 stars.
Right, because like the Chargers play good against the bad teams, but play mediocre at best against the good teams. We saw that against the Chiefs and the Cowboys, right? Yeah. So I think the Lions do win this game. I think it's going to be like 28-17 type of game. I think most of those 2 touchdowns probably come from Austin Eckler.
Yep.
Or at least one of them.
You starting Justin Herbert this week?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to do enough to warrant that starting position.
Mm-hmm.
Probably starting Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler, and that's probably about it.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm cool with starting on the Chargers side. I want Eckler, and Justin Herbert, and that's about where I'm drawing the line. Keenan Allen, you know, good and all, but you know, Mike Williams. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, if you want to start Mike Williams, I guess.
Yeah, no. But like, I don't know. I think the Lions are going to lock him down pretty hard. I think Justin Herbert gets his P's and Q's through passing yards to get him to around like 25 points ish. But I don't think he's going to be getting any touchdowns. I don't think he's a big boom player. But, you know, when we're talking about bye week riddled portions of the season, I definitely would start Justin Herbert in that type of situation. Jared Goff, I think will have a good game. But I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a similar performance as he did last week and just be dominant.
What about you sound like, of course, Amon-Ra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Amon-Ra's a lot.
Why am I forgetting his name? The tight end for the Lions. Sam Laporta.
Oh, Laporta.
Yeah.
I like Laporta. I think he's a good start. The issue is, you know, tight ends tend to have a tough time against the Chargers, but like he wouldn't be a bad start. He's like a Heath Miller type tight end. You know, if you played fantasy 10 years ago, you know, Heath Miller just scored you 8 to 12 points every week consistently. Never went more or less. You just knew you're getting like 10 points every week with him. That's what Laporta is going to be, and that sometimes leads to top 5 tight end performances.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if you're cool with that, like that's where Laporta is. You know, it depends on what the standing of your team is and how heavy your tight end load is.
I can get down with it.
Giants visit Dallas.
If there's any blowout this week, it's going to be this game.
You think so? You think the Giants are going to blow out the Cowboys? Oh,
No, I think it's going to be the other way around, my guy.
you're gonna hate my scorecard.
Oh God, what is it? Just lay it on. Just let me hear it. Let me hear this bullshit.
31-14, Cowboys.
Oh, okay. Wait, I thought you were gonna say the Giants win. I was so ready for that
No, bro, I'm not delusional.
because I mean, what's his face is supposed to come back this week.
Saquon?
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. I was like, I thought Saquon already came back.
Yeah, no, he's been back, but like
I was like,
the Dallas is a very good regular season team.
That's true. Elite.
Very good regular season, but then it comes playoffs time, they just forget how to play. It seems like.
Yeah.
So with that being like, I don't think this is gonna be a particularly close game. I think it's gonna be pretty ugly. The Giants don't have enough firepower. Yeah, they got Saquon, but that's really where it ends on offense. Yeah. Whereas on the Cowboys side, they got Dak Prescott, they got Brandon Cooks, they got CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard. They got a lot of offensive weapons on that side of the ball. Too much for the Giants, and I really like their secondary. I think the secondary is very good. I think they got a bright future. But man, dude, it's gonna be an ugly game from start to finish. It's gonna heavily favor the Cowboys. Yeah, I'm thinking like a minor blowout, like 35-17. Cowboys win.
I got
31-14. And the Cowboys got a very good second defense.
You know, it's crazy how close our point swings have been tonight.
They have been closer than normal. I will say that.
We've been talking too much.
Nah, it's fine.
We've been convincing each other too many ideals.
But like this week's, it makes it easy to do that, right? Because some of the games are just heavily favoring one team, I think.
Yeah.
Like this game, you know, the Cowboys versus Giants. I don't think it's going to be either close. I think really from the Giants, you really only start Saquon. And then Daniel Jones, if you're absolutely desperate for a quarterback play, you can start him.
And that's it. That's it.
That's
on the Cowboys side, it's like any Cowboy you can get going, I would go.
Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
Maybe Brandon Cooks.
Why not? Fuck it. He's been balling.
Fuck it. Why not? Let's just start everyone.
Why not? You're going against the Giants, dude. Fuck it.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm trying to look up Brandon Cook's stats real quick. See what he's done. So Brandon Cooks has 165 yards on the year. So he hasn't been doing great. At this point, I mean, Jake Ferguson, the tight end, start him up.
Yeah.
Fuck it, why not? Michael Gallup, sure.
Fuck it, why not?
Why not? This is kind of a game where I would just start any Cowboys you could.
That's exactly what I said, bro. I said any Cowboy you can get your hands on, fuck it. Why not?
It's just gonna be an ugly ass fucking game.
Dak Prescott is going to get an MVP conversations off this one game alone.
Yeah. I can see that. I would not be surprised. He's gonna ball out, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my god, he's the best player in the league." And we're just like, "Calm down. It was one fucking game." You know?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where it's at.
Yeah, and it's coming in a perfect time because you know that Thanksgiving game coming up too. Next 3 games, he ball out. He does it every year, and then they'd be like, "Oh, MVP," and then it's just like, "Come on, bro! It's the Cowboys. They ain't gonna win."
It's the Cowboys. It's Dak Prescott. Calm down.
Come on.
And then that's gonna be CJ Stroud's ending. Is Dak Prescott? Because like Dak Prescott, Dak Prescott hasn't played bad though by any means this year.
No.
13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Like he's good in the regular season. We see it year in, year out. Okay, little side quest. Is he someone you put in the top 5?
Who? Dak?
How high would you rank Dak Prescott?
In QB overall? Like, or MVP voting?
Yeah, just QB standing.
So like just talent wise, I'm assuming is what you mean.
Yeah, just him. Where would you rank
Patrick
him against
Mahomes.
other quarterbacks in the league?
Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Cousins, call me crazy, but like honestly, Kirk deserves it. I seen a stat line. So Patrick Mahomes was on top of this board in efficiency at 1.7%. And that's missing open wide receivers. 1.7% of the time he misses that.
Mm-hmm.
It went to Kirk Cousins, 2.3%. After that, the next player was, I can't remember who, but 6.3%. I want to say Jalen Hurts.
Damn,
Big drop off. That
massive
stat
drop
right
off.
there made it apparent to me that Kirk Cousins is that good.
He is, and Travis said this a long time ago, but he's like the most hated quarterback for some reason, or one of them at
Yeah.
least, and massively underrated
Yeah.
for no good reason.
No. He's
And
elite.
I think he's elite, but he's just on teams that don't make it far.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like
Yeah.
he's much like going back to his Commander days. He's
Mhm.
much better than people give him credit for,
Yeah.
and I'll stand by that.
Yeah. He was solid when he was with Washington.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just Washington was never a winning team. But they had a few seasons where, you know, like they had a top 10 offense.
Yep.
They squeak into the playoffs once or twice.
He's kind of just like you said. He was unfortunately on a not good team, a team that seemed like at the time didn't want to win.
Yeah. And then like
So then he,
my number 3 would have to be Tua.
okay, I don't
My
hate
number
that.
4. My number 4 really does have to be Lamar Jackson. And then my number
Cannot put him up
5
there.
has to be, man, it's hard. It's Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert. That's where I'm at. And then CJ
Personally, I would
Stroud's
have
right
to
under.
personally I have to give it to Joe Burrow, just because I think he's
Mhm.
on the better offense,
Yeah.
and they've been looking really good the past 3 weeks or so.
Mhm.
I would have to. I would Joe Burrow, then Herbert, then CJ Stroud. But I'm almost tempted to put CJ Stroud above Herbert.
Me too.
You
I'm
know,
tempted
like
to put
that's
him
a
above
very.
Burrow.
It's tempting, for
Yeah.
sure. But I think I have to give it to Burrow, and then Burrow, then Stroud, then Herbert.
I'm
Kind of
comfortable
where
with
I'll
that.
put it at. Yeah, I think that's a very good conversation to have. And if you want to put Herbert above Stroud, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
If you want to put Herbert above Burrow, I'm cool with that too.
Right.
I think that 3's kind
I
of a
agree.
shuffle. If you put CJ above him, like it's not crazy either. Like I think that 3 is a shuffle.
No, I mean CJ has earned it
Yeah.
this year. You know, it's like it's not like we're just doing it out of hype, but he's actually earned it
You
through
know,
all the
like
games he's had.
what I love is not only does he have the yardage, he has
Mhm.
the lack of picks to back it up too. That's the
Yeah,
big thing.
14-1. 14-1 is
Yeah.
crazy.
And like
All
he's
right.
winning games. And he broke the single game record. You know, when Andrew Luck was a rookie, there was
Mhm.
discussions like this already happening about him. People were saying he was a
Now
top 5 quarterback after that game.
we're doing it about with CJ Stroud.
Mhm.
But like, it's not like Andrew Luck didn't earn that too either at the time.
Yeah, and look what Andrew Luck
You know?
ended up being prior to his sudden retirement. Like he gets remembered for
Right.
his sudden retirement, but like there was a reason that like people were pissed off about it because they took him like in the first round as a quarterback. You know,
Mhm.
because he was that good. He was the next Peyton Manning. Like
Yep.
it's like I respect the decision for him not to play. You know, he proved what he needed to prove to himself, and he got out of the game. That's cool. But damn, it's one of those careers that I really wish he played another 15 years because he definitely could have.
It's like, because it's fun to look back on because like you look at players like Andrew Luck, and like, man, you could have been a Hall of Famer. You could have
Yeah.
gone down as possibly one of the all-time greats, which I
Yeah.
think he could have. He's very much on that trajectory to go down
Yeah,
as one of the best quarterbacks to ever play.
the Colts ain't been right since he's left.
No, and then they drafted a guy AR-15 to try and get right, but then he goes down with injury. It's like, damn, because he was playing good too.
Yeah.
He was fun and exciting to watch. All right, on to our next game: the Commanders at the Seahawks. I think you're starting on the Commander side of the ball, not what you got written down.
Commies.
You're starting Sam Howell. You're starting Scary Terry.
Of course.
Are you touching the
He's
running
scary.
backs?
Man, I really like Brian Robinson, man. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I like him
when you
too,
watch
but
him
are you
on tape
starting?
too, like when you watch him on tape, it's like it feels like he gets more points on fantasy than he actually does. So it's weird. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, how good do you think he can run against the Seahawks defense? Honestly, I need some help on this. What do you think?
I don't think he's going to run nearly well enough to
Yeah,
warrant.
that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I'm leaning towards him like having like 50 yards on the ground, maybe 2 receptions for like 10 yards. So like an 8-point game.
He's RB12 overall right now,
Yeah.
but in large part is due to his Week 2 game against Denver where he scored 31.
Yeah.
I would see last week he got 18 carries.
You see what I mean?
Uh,
Like when you're watching him on tape, you're almost assuming that he's getting 25 points a game because he's
Right.
having those gritty runs, but it's just like they're not totaling. You know what I mean?
I think Brent Ramsden might be worth a start this week.
I could see that. I kind of settled it in my head that he's going to be around 8 to 10 points.
Yeah,
this week.
I mean that's what he's been the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right, but he gets those. He'll probably get a touchdown that's going to really save his day, I think.
That's true. That turns that game into like a 16-point game.
Right.
You know, that's really good.
I'm torn though because like these next 3 weeks are really the only weeks you want to start him, or the next 2, Seattle and the Giants. So then he plays Dallas, Miami, Rams.
Well, Miami,
Fran,
you'd be okay
Dallas
with him
again.
running against.
Miami's got a sneaky good defense.
Yeah, but they struggle against the run specifically. Specifically, a guy like Brian Robinson.
But I'm not as confident starting him like it would be the next couple weeks.
We'll
I guess
see
is what I'm really
when
at.
the week comes up.
Right. So I'd be
So
starting
score locking?
See, I really love my guy on the Commanders, Sam Howell.
Sam Howell.
I don't like betting against him.
Yeah.
But
the Seahawks are good.
They got a damn good offense. They got a lot of good pieces. Offense. More good pieces than the Commanders have. I'm gonna say Seahawks win 30 or 28-24. That's what I'm going with. I just think the Seahawks have too many pieces on offense, and then the Commanders are not going to know what to do with. And they're not going to be able to guard Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and JSN, and then also stop 27-23. Damn.
I'm saying 27-23 Commanders.
Yeah. But I don't think they're going to be able to stop all 3 of those guys and then Kenneth Walker.
I think they can. The Commanders' defense is good enough, I think.
I think they could, but I don't think it's likely.
I think it was proven last week that they didn't need Montez Sweat or Chase Young.
It was. But they also went against a horrible Patriots offense, so.
Yeah, but the Seahawks were much better last week.
No, but they're a hell of a lot better than the Patriots.
That's true. They should be.
Offensively. I don't hate I don't hate your pick. I think they could win. But ultimately, I think it's just going to be the Seahawks on top because I think they do have too much firepower.
I'm thinking, you start Sam Howell, Geno. I'm thinking you start Kenneth. I think you start Brian Robinson. You kind of talked me into it. I'm comfortable starting him, especially in a flex role. Scary
Starting
Terry,
at
I think, is a lock.
he's gonna get 15 to 18 carries, probably
Yeah.
about 70 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a couple catches.
Mhm.
DK Metcalf, Lockett. Are you going with?
Yeah,
JSN? No, because you're going Lockett.
only desperation. Unfortunately,
Desperation. All right.
he's just third in the pecking order, so it's like it's hard to comfortably start him. But if you needed
Yeah.
someone who's on your bench and you got a couple
Fuck it,
people
we
on
ball.
buy or something like that, yeah, it's like fuck it, why not?
Fuck
See
it,
what
why not?
happens. Plug him in and see what happens.
I
That's
love
really all
it.
you can do at that point.
Fuck it, why not? That
Fuck
needs
it,
to be
why
our
not?
slogan. That needs to be our
Just
slogan now.
fuck it, why not? Fuck it, why not? I'm with it.
Jets at Las Vegas.
Start Zach Wilson. Fuck it, why not?
Yeah, honestly, he's gonna get sacked 6 times, but he might get like 280 yards through the air.
And probably a couple touchdowns. He's been very, very good about not turning the ball over this year. Well, at least the past few games that he's been starting. Aiden O'Connell on the flip side, probably not starting him because it just defense is sneaky good. The only one I'm really worth starting, I think, is probably Josh Jacobs, comfortably at least.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the Jets side of the ball, I want to say Brees Hall and Dalvin Cook, but at the same time, like you don't
I'm
know.
not starting Dalvin. I'm not starting Dalvin this week. I'm starting
I
Brees.
want to.
You have to start
He
Brees
could-
because of the
he could
performances
get-
he can have.
Exactly. He could get 20 carries. He could get 7 carries. You don't know. So I would probably start him. I think they're going to get a big enough lead that they're going to lean on the run, hopefully. So then that's where I think Brees Hall is going to get a lot of his work in, is later in the game. So with that being said, I think this is going to be like a 27-17 win for the Jets. That's kind of where I'm feeling.
You know, I'm feeling Jets too, man. I'm thinking 2017 Jets.
As I like Aiden O'Connell a lot, but I don't think he's going to do enough to help the Raiders win this game, which is why I'm not really starting anyone on the Raiders side of the ball besides maybe Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
You know, Devonta Adams is interesting. He's someone I would think about, but he's not someone I'm going to like confidently put in my lineup.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at with that one.
I'm kind of in the same spot. Like, you kind of took
Mhm.
the words right out of my mouth. I think we both envisioned this game in the same game plan. So it's like, that's kind of where I'm rocking. I'd start Zach Wilson this week, honestly.
He'll probably get you 15 points.
Yeah, I'm thinking 20.
Yeah, he's not going to blow you away, but he's going to do enough where you don't regret starting him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
That's
kinda
where
what
I'm
I'm
at with
thinking.
him. All right. Let's wrap this up. Broncos at Buffalo.
Ooh. I'm almost tempted to say the Broncos win it, but God.
Lock in your
This
score.
I don't know which Josh Allen I'm going to get. I think it's going to be Buffalo win.
Okay.
Me, you know what? Broncos win it. 27-21.
Bold.
Bold, but I think Broncos are going to get to Josh Allen. But with that being said, I'm starting James Cook,
Okay.
starting Josh Allen, starting Stephon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
That's it from the Bills side of the ball. From the Broncos side, starting Russ Wilson and starting Courtland Sutton.
That's it?
That's it.
And you think they go and win?
I do.
I had 31-7 Broncos right there, but that was a facade. I'm actually thinking 28-17 7.
I might
Bills.
actually also start Javonte Williams too as well. Actually,
Javonte Williams would be a good start. But I'm thinking 28-7 Bills. I think that this is an ass whooping. I don't know, man.
Not the
I'm
Dolphins.
not even hot on Josh Allen, but it seems like every time I predict for him to win, they lose, and every time I predict for him to lose, they win, and I don't know what the fuck's happening anymore. So I'm just trying to get things right. This should
So that
be
means they're gonna
one.
lose. You predicted they're gonna win, so they're gonna lose now. So congrats.
That's okay, I guess.
Who are you starting from both sides of the ball?
Josh Allen, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Cook, I'm going with. Stephon Diggs, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Broncos, I'm not going Russell Wilson. I'm going Javonte Williams though.
Okay.
And that's really the only player I'm comfortable with even thinking about starting on the Broncos side.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. All right. So then, a question to kind of wrap up all of our games: is there any sleepers that you have from any game? From any game?
Yeah, man. I'm thinking Noah Brown, Texans.
I like it. I like it.
I think it's a coming out party. I'm thinking Calvin Austin against the Packers. I know I pick it sometimes, but like I feel like this could be a really big coming out game for him. The biggest issue he's been having all season is on his release. The Packers don't play a lot of press coverage, so his release will be a little bit easier. And once he gets that speed going, like he's hard to stop. So that's been proven. He's a smaller guy. He's a shifty guy. He's got pretty okay route running. And we haven't had Deontay Johnson back the whole season. So now, especially when they go in 4 wide, I think Deontay Johnson coming back is going to help the Steelers offense a lot more than I was expecting. Matt Canada being on the sideline might be the best offensive coordinator in the NFL. I don't know what happened, but get him out of that booth, get him on the sideline and let him wear that damn sombrero. I don't care. Calvin Austin is a sleeper pick for me this week. Man. And my last one that I would lock in is Algier considered a sleeper?
Technically, you could argue that.
Okay, fine. I'll get a little bit more spicy then. JSN.
Ooh, okay. I accept that. That's spicy. I think I like all your picks. I would just add Hollywood Brown to that.
I can see it.
Just because from what I said earlier, he's going to have to throw to somebody. I think it's going to be one of his more favorite targets from when he was playing and healthy last year.
Yep.
That's kind of maybe Trey McBride. I might have a nice little game.
True. McBride's solid.
But yeah.
I just don't think it's going to be all.
I don't either. But if I had to pick some from that game, I'd probably choose Hollywood Brown. Kind of where I'm at.
I feel that. Well.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you go ahead and send us out, Austin?
No, you got this, buddy.
I don't.
You got this. I believe in you.
All right, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Give us a follow on Facebook. If you ain't there already, join the Discord.
Hell yeah.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Follow me on twitch.tv/Strippermation. We got YouTube videos every day. We try to get a clip out on TikTok. Check us out. Doesn't matter. Appreciate you. We got merch coming soon, don't we? Is that going to be on sale soon? Am I supposed to say that yet? I don't know.
We're working on it.
So, have a great night, guys. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.
That was adorable.
And the fucking
good night.
And the recording.
Good night. Good night.